Now, the episode ends with Homelander arriving, and you can totally feel the entire tone shift. Speaking of tone shifting, I love how the music does too, with a heroic entrance kind of droning out. Now, what he says here is extremely important, and even though she's respectful, he sees soup on soup crime as being indefensible.
Do you like attacking your own kind?
To him, the real war is between superhuman and human, and this plays his hand for what his real plan is. I want to talk about some comic spoilers in just a bit, but I'll save that for its own section in case you want to duck out. That also involves what happens with the butcher scene, but they're clearly heading into a similar direction. Now, as for the Guardians, the news is running with the story that they were behind the murder spree, with even Emma being roped into it too. New Guardians have been elected, with Kate and Sam now being pushed as heroes. What Homelander's really got, though, is two complete psychopaths who can easily be accepted into the public narrative. However, what they really are, though, is people who can be controlled, which symbolically has been shown in the characters themselves. Kate's pusher powers allow her to somewhat puppet someone, and Sam himself sees people like that. Looking at this subtext, this was obviously done on purpose to add a sense of irony to what's about to happen. Homelander is no doubt going to control them, and he's got two extremely powerful soups now operating under him. One comes with strength, the other comes with the brain, and these two people are going to cause a lot of issues. Now, there's also the possibility that even if things are brought to the surface, that no one's going to believe the good guys.
You think they're going to believe a black girl and a bigender Asian soup over Vought?
As for the gang, they're holed up in a hospital room with no doors or windows. Nice little detail on the gowns themselves is that they have V's on them because you have Vought. Now, what this does show, though, is that Vought still has them under control, so it's not like something that we haven't experienced in the show. We also see Marie survive the blast, because we know soups have super strength, and even Stormfront could survive getting lasered in a chest like this because of this line.
Don't be a pussy, laser my fucking tits.
As for where they are, I actually think this is Elmira, which has been teased throughout the show. So far we've seen Sage Grove in the woods, but this is the one place that hasn't been shown to us. This is obviously a brand new location we haven't been to before, and with Elmira getting dropped in, yeah, I think that's where this is. Now, there will obviously be doors, but they'll be flush with the wall, and this is so that the Guardians can be kept prisoner. I actually think, I think Emma's going to be how they escape, as her powers go beyond being activated when she's sick or eats too much. Just in the same way Ant-Man kickstarted Endgame, I think that Emma will be the one who helps to solve all of this. Her breaking into the woods shows she has the capabilities to break facilities like this, and only Shetty suspected her involvement, which I'm guessing these have overlooked. As for what they're there for, I don't think that Vought will want them around anytime soon, and instead they might be used to juice up other soups, just like how Sam was. Either way though, this is clearly a Vought facility, so it makes sense that they would want to keep a close eye on them. Kinda reminds me of what Maeve was kept in as well, and yeah, they're not being killed off yet, they're just being kept under guard. Who knows, they might even test the virus on them, as we don't know what Vic's done with it, and they could be altering and trying to weaponize it. Now, the episode ends with a major mid-credits scene that sees Billy Butcher then discovering the woods. Though last week Victoria took the canister of the virus, Billy could reverse engineer it due to the corpse that we know was left there. He was given less than 2 years to live at the end of Season 3, with him swearing to take Victoria Newman down. Thus him going there could be getting the virus too, which may be where things all head off to. Now, to the sounds of Kids in America, we close out wondering what's going to happen next, but I feel like I have a pretty fair idea. Full spoilers ahead for the comic book, so if you don't know what happens in it, then please turn off now. Anyway, Homelander is clearly putting his people in place to take over everything, which is what ends up playing out in the source material. At Herogasm, he hires a woman of the night to distract the Vought CEO and goes to give a speech telling them to mount up. However, just before delivering it, the CEO returns, having sussed out what his true plan was. Burned by this, Homelander still continues his cause, and he begins to get the soups to all side with his rebellion. Going to the White House, he ends up killing the president, who, at this point, is Victor Newman. Vic had infiltrated the White House as the vice president, but once the man in charge was killed, he then got the position. I think that this is something that will happen with Victoria, and that she'll take over from Singer when something no doubt happens to him. Now, Homelander at this point sits in the Oval Office with Victor's head, which is when Butcher's sent in to take him out. At this point, we get the reveal that Black Noir's a clone of him, and he kills Homelander before Butcher finishes him off. Butcher then goes on to kill all the boys except Huey, and he attempts to wipe out every suit through using a radio frequency that detonates V. Now personally, I think they'll condense these plot lines into one to make it so that Victoria is killed by Homelander and that Butcher then unleashes the virus. This will take out not only him, but also the soups across the world, resetting the power balance and taking it away from Vought. Now this would lead to a lot of soup deaths, and potentially someone like Marie can help control the disease. In the end of the comics, Butcher did fail with his plan though, and thus Huey and Annie were able to have a life together. Still though, I think going in this direction would mean they can bring all these elements together into one cohesive plot. I love how all these strands are fitting together, and the cameo by Butcher tops it off perfectly. This was actually teased to us last week with a line,
"A man who works for me, one of your fellow countrymen, although I doubt you travel in the same circles, has this same rage."
So yeah, nice way to bring things full circle from that. Now Homelander being brought in too shows how he's starting to handle the situation, and that he truly aligns with Kate's ideals to wipe humanity out. I think it could really make things ramp up into something spectacular, and I can't wait to see where they go with it.